If you want to overcome your social media addiction for good, not temporarily, not halfway, this is the video for you. You leave your phone in the other room for 1 hour, and just about 15 minutes in, you start frantically looking for your phone as if you have lost your passport. I know, we've all been there. And it's genuinely frustrating when you know that something is bad for you, but you still cannot stop. By the end of this video, you will have a 4-step framework, research backed, science based, and not generic, to understand why your brain gets trapped into the scroll and how to actually break out of it. Because if you're spending just 2 hours on social media every single day, and I know most of the people spend more time than that, that's 730 hours, which is around 30 full days every single year, quietly disappearing. In 2024, over 5 billion people were on social media. That's more than half of the planet. The average person unlocks their phone about 100 times a day. 100. That's not a habit, that's a reflex. And the frustrating thing is that most of us know that we are overdoing it. We are not oblivious. We actually feel it, that hollow, vague, and guilty feeling after you've been scrolling for a while and you come up for air and think to yourself, what was I even doing? I felt that all the time. So I went and actually looked into why this keeps happening. Like, why is it so hard to stop? And what I found changed how I thought about it completely. Because the problem isn't what you think it is. First things first, you need to know that this is not a willpower problem. Dr. Anna, she's a Stanford psychiatrist who literally wrote a book about this called Dopamine Nation. She explains that social media triggers the exact same dopamine pathway in your brain as heroin or alcohol. Same pathway, same chemical reaction. These apps don't just entertain you, they literally drug you. And I'm not being dramatic, this is actual neuroscience. Every like, every comment, and every notification is like a tiny hit, and our brain, being the extremely efficient machine that it is, starts to rewire itself around that. You need more scrolling to get the same effect, and then you scroll even more just to feel normal. Not because you're weak, but because that's literally what chemistry does. And I found weird statistics. People talk about themselves around 30 to 40% of the time in real life, but on social media, around 80% of the time. Because every post is basically asking for validation. And when the validation comes, the likes, the views, the replies, your brain goes, yes, good, more of that. More rewiring, and then more need. So when you try to quit social media with nothing but just motivation and determination, you're essentially trying to fight your own neurology with no essential tools. And of course, it doesn't work. But here's the part that really changed how I saw this. Your brain isn't reaching for your phone because it wants content. It's reaching for your phone because it wants to feel different. Think about it. You're not suddenly desperate to know what your old school friend had for lunch. You pick up your phone because you are in some sort of an uncomfortable state. It can be boredom, anxiety, avoiding something, tiredness, or even that 3 a.m. mental fog. And your phone is the fastest way out of that state. It's approachable, it takes just 2 seconds, and it's available in the click of a button. Of course, your brain reaches for your phone because that's the easiest way to solve a problem that you're facing. Common versions of that low state include you just finished something and don't know what to do next. You're anxious about something but don't want to think about it. You're mentally drained after focusing hard. Laying in bed, brain won't settle, and looking for something to land on. The fix at this stage is not discipline. It's knowing your own triggers, which we will get to. But before that, let me tell you a part that nobody talks about, which might be the most useful thing in this video. Doom scrolling doesn't just flood you with too much stuff, it also creates a void. Because you consume all of this content, other people's life, their emotions, thoughts, information, and just so much more. And you produce absolutely nothing back. No thoughts finished, no task done, and no problem solved. You just process the world for around an hour and left no trace. And your brain knows that, the same way it knows that you wasted time. So whenever you put your phone down, you have this low-grade guilt that I should have been doing something. A kind of hollow feeling that you can't quite name yet. And you know what that feeling does to you? It puts you back in the low state, which makes you reach for your phone again. And it's a cycle that never ends. You scroll to feel better, scrolling makes you feel worse, and you try to scroll again in order to fix that, and stopping gets even harder every single time. You are trying to break a cycle from inside a cycle, using the same brain that the cycle has hijacked. I know I've said the word cycle multiple times in this sentence, but That's the best way to explain it. You are never going to outdiscipline a system that was literally engineered against you. And that's the rest of the video. Our first fix would be to make scrolling harder for yourself. The most underrated thing I'm going to say today is that you don't need more discipline, you need more friction. Think of it this way. If every single time you wanted to eat a snack, you had to drive all the way across the town to eat it, you would eat fewer snacks. Not because suddenly you were the most disciplined person in the world, but because the effort wasn't worth it. The same principle applies here. The goal is to make the wrong thing so inconvenient that you inevitably have to choose the right thing. I'll give you 4 tips in the order of how much they actually help. Now keep in mind, all of these are research-backed and science-based tips. They're not generic. The first one is to turn your phone to grayscale, black and white. I know it sounds ridiculous, but those red notification bubbles and those saturated colors are literally designed to catch your eye. They are not red by accident. You remove the color and you will remove the pull automatically. Try it because it genuinely works. My second tip is to delete the apps from your home screen. Not your phone, just temporarily from your home screen. So whenever you open your phone, you're not tempted to open those social media applications. My way of doing it is that I turn on do not disturb mode at a specific time every single day. It's automated, so my brain doesn't have to remember it, and it removes all the social media apps from my home screen and all the notifications whatsoever. I only access my social media from my laptop. If I have to post something for work or for this channel, I would go on my laptop and sit and intentionally do it. No absent-minded scrolling in bed at midnight because there is nothing to scroll with. The friction is way too high. The third tip is to turn off the notifications completely. Every buzz and every notification is a dopamine trigger. Only keep those notifications on which are necessary for you to function. In my case, my main calling and my main messaging app has the notification on. Other than that, everything is off. My fourth tip is to place the phone out of your bedroom. Charge it in the hallway and buy a regular alarm clock. And make sure to not use your phone at least half an hour before you sleep. None of these will require willpower in the moment. You set it up once and they run in the background forever. And that's the entire point. You've changed your environment. Very good. But the urge will still show up. You'll finish something and your hands won't even know what to do next. And your brain obviously suggests the easiest thing. Check your phone. That moment is the trigger. And the trick is not to resist it, it's to catch it. Here's something that sounds too simple to work, but it does. When you notice that you've picked up your phone for absolutely no reason, stop just for 3 seconds and ask yourself, what state am I actually in right now? Just naming it, like I'm anxious, I'm avoiding something, or I'm just bored, actually activates a different part of your brain, the part that makes decisions instead of reacting to it. You don't even have to put down your phone immediately. You just have to make picking it up a conscious decision instead of just a reflex. And this one shift is quite powerful. And this is also the starting point in cognitive behavioral therapy, one of the most evidence-backed approaches for changing behavior. And it's not complicated. It's just building the habit of catching the moment before the action. Now, once you've caught it, you need somewhere to go because your brain did genuinely need a state change. And that need doesn't just disappear just because you noticed it. So here's what I would suggest. Build something that I call state change menu. A list of 5 quick things that you can do instead. It can be a 5 minutes walk, a glass of cold water, or even stepping outside. Nothing deep or profound, just enough to interrupt the automatic cycle. The research on this is very clear. You can't design solutions in the moment. You design them in advance, and that's the whole game. Okay, this is the section that I actually want you to pay attention to. Because the first 2 fixes, they reduce scrolling, and this one makes you not want to scroll. Yes. Here's something the research caught me off guard with. There's a real difference between passive scrolling and actively using social media. Passive scrolling is the kind that leaves you feeling hollow, lonely, like everybody else's life is somehow more or even better than yours. An active use of social media might include talking to people or even creating something. The research separates them clearly. So if you're going to be on social media, at least be there with a purpose, not just drifting and scrolling. But the version that actually stopped me from scrolling goes even further from that. Before this channel existed, I was continuously scrolling. Not occasionally. Every break that I could find, every time that I had. The kind where you pick up your phone and the next time you look up, it's been 45 minutes and you genuinely cannot tell a single thing that you saw. And that was me. Not because I was lazy or undisciplined, but because I didn't have any other thing that was pulling me in the other direction. When I started building this channel, the structured life, something in me shifted. I was being creative, connecting with people, and having fun online because I knew that it was mine and I was building towards something. And my urge to scroll just faded away. Not because I forced it, but because something better filled the space. Social media is really good at giving you cheap version of the things that actually matter to you. Creativity, recognition, connection, stimulation. But a creative outlet gives you a real version. And when you have the OG, the cheap version stops being interesting. And your outlet doesn't have to be a YouTube channel. It can be something that you genuinely enjoy. Here's a question that you can ask yourself. What did I love doing before my phone became my default? Writing, photography, drawing, cooking, building something with your hands. Anything that requires you to produce something or create something instead of just consuming. I'll give you 3 quick ways to check if it's the right outlet for you. You lose track of time doing it, it builds towards something you genuinely care about, and it gives you an actual reason to put your phone down. And when those are true, you actually feel like you're pulled towards something better. It's a completely different and, to be honest, very amazing experience. And it's the one that actually sticks and makes you want to not scroll. Honestly, most people are not addicted to social media because they love social media. They're addicted to it because they haven't found something that they genuinely love more than social media. Fix that and the problem starts solving itself. The fourth fix is to use social media just on your own terms. Here's where a lot of the advice goes wrong. People treat it like you have to delete all of your social media apps or you have failed. And for most of us, it's just not realistic. We have to use social media for work, to stay connected to our friends and family. If I be very honest with you, I've tried deleting social media apps from my phone entirely. And there were days when I was at work and one of my clients came in. I know it's completely out of context, but bear with me. And he wanted to show me his profile and he wanted me to open my social media app like TikTok or Instagram. And to be honest, I had all of my apps deleted. So I had to reinstall those applications just to see what he wanted to show me. So these days, social media is a genuine need. So you cannot just go and delete those applications off of your phone. You have to make their use intentional because our goal is not zero, our goal is to control. Okay, that rhymed. A 2018 study from the University of Pennsylvania found that cutting social media down to just 30 minutes a day led to a significant drop in anxiety, depression, loneliness, and sleep problems. So decide in advance when you're allowed to be on social media. Afternoon, maybe, or even in the evening, that's your call. But outside of those hours, not allowed. And don't be like those people who say, I'll try not to check. It's not trying, it's just absolutely doing. Genuinely schedule it and treat it like a meeting. You attend and then you leave. And a pro tip here is to curate your feed. Unfollow anyone who makes you feel bad about your life or those who set unrealistic expectations. You built your feed. You can rebuild it. Fill it with things that genuinely interest you and make you feel good. So when you close the app, you genuinely feel happy. If you want to go even further, Dr. Anna recommends a 30-day dopamine detox, a whole month off social media to genuinely reset your brain's reward system, reduce the anxiety it's been feeding, and get back your ability to enjoy ordinary life again. I know it's not for everyone, but if you have tried everything and nothing has genuinely stuck, this might be the one last resort for you. Now, let's bring it together really quickly. The reason you cannot stop is not your weak willpower, it's that your brain is in a loop. You feel low, you scroll on your phone, you feel even lower, and then reach out for the phone again. Round and round. Breaking the loop is not about trying harder, it's about designing in a smarter way. You add friction so the wrong thing is the hard thing to do. You build a state change menu so you have somewhere to go when your mind hits that low state. You find something that you love building more than you like scrolling on social media. And you put your social media use on a schedule so it feels intentional and not mindless. Here's a thing that you might not know. You are not fighting a bad habit. You are fighting a product that was designed by some of the smartest engineers in the world, specifically to keep you on it as long as possible. Infinite scroll, variable rewards, and the little red bubbles. None of that is an accident. It was intentionally built, which means the way out needs to be built intentionally as well. So stop blaming yourself and start building the system. I built a free social media audit tracker to go alongside this. It walks you through figuring out where your time actually goes, identifying your personal triggers, building your state change menu, and setting up everything that we just talked about, step by step and completely free. Link is in the description. If this video was useful and you want to see more, subscribe because I post every week. The scroll isn't going anywhere, but neither are you, as long as you've got something better to build. So start today. Problem. For